Imagine a world once teeming with life, now silent. There are no birds in the sky, no voices, no hum of machines. Cities stand frozen in time, their towers draped in the dust of centuries. The wind whispers through shattered windows, carrying the echoes of a civilization long forgotten. Earth is dead, or so it seems. Then, from the endless dark of space, they arrive. They are not human. They never were. Their eyes scan the ghostly remains of our world, puzzled. They expected ruins, perhaps even fossils. But what they find is something else, something waiting. For 500,000 years, Earth has slept beneath a blanket of time, untouched, undisturbed. The invaders, explorers, scavengers, conquerors, whatever they might be, descend cautiously. Their ships drift over the silent cities, scanning, analyzing, searching for answers. What happened here? Where did the builders of these grand towers go? No signs of war, no craters, no radioactive wastelands. Just silence, as if one day every living thing simply stopped. Their sensors sweep the planet. Ruins stretch across the continents, but deep beneath the surface, their instruments detect something else. Something vast, something hidden. A graveyard? No, a fortress. And deep within its cold, silent depths, the remnants of a fleet. Massive warships slumber beneath the Earth's crust, untouched by time. Weapons still gleaming, engines still primed. Not destroyed, not dismantled, preserved. The aliens exchange uneasy glances. This was no accident, no natural extinction. Someone left these ships behind, ready, waiting. Waiting for what? And then something stirs. A flicker of energy, a faint pulse in the void. The fleet isn't just waiting. It's watching. The arrival of the aliens. The lead ship descends cautiously, its smooth, obsidian hull cutting through Earth's atmosphere like a shadow. Inside, the alien crew watches their monitors in silence. Their species, known across the stars as the Ziphrans, are explorers by nature, but today, even they feel a strange unease. They have visited dead worlds before, planets ravaged by time, war, or nature's cruelty. But Earth is different. This is not a ruin swallowed by chaos. This world is orderly, its cities standing tall, but empty, as if life had simply evaporated. Their instruments scan the planet's surface. Stone structures, metal frameworks, faded signs of what must have been civilization. Data scrolls across their screens, measuring oxygen levels, radiation, and atmospheric stability. Everything suggests that this world should still be alive, but it isn't. Something is missing, something fundamental. Commander, there is no biological trace of its inhabitants. One of the crew reports, their voice tinged with unease. No bodies, no decay, just absence. The Ziphrans exchange glances. Even in planetary extinction, something remains, bones, fossils, something. But here, nothing. The lead scientist, a being with translucent skin and sharp, luminous eyes, taps a set of glowing symbols on the interface. A map of Earth spreads across their screen, data points highlighting key locations. Cities frozen in time, vast underground structures. And then the signal. Faint, subtle, but undeniably there. A low, rhythmic pulse, almost imperceptible. Not a distress beacon, not a call for help. A heartbeat. The commander's expression darkens. That's artificial. Their pilot adjusts their course, guiding the ship toward the signal's source. They glide over massive, lifeless cities, vast, intricate, and untouched by war. Finally, the signal leads them to a barren landscape, a place where time itself seems to stand still. The ground below looks ordinary at first glance, but their scanners detect something massive beneath the surface. Metal, machinery, power, an entire subterranean structure. A fortress. The Ziphrans deploy a probe, a sleek, metallic drone that descends and burrows into the soil. Moments later, their screens light up. The readings make no sense. This isn't ruins, one of the scientists mutters. This is active technology. The commander leans forward. Active? The scientist nods, hesitating. Not running, but not dead either. It's been preserved, shielded, as if it were put into stasis. A chilling silence fills the ship's command center. Then the screens flicker. The probe's feed cuts out. A soft hum vibrates through the air. Not from their ship, not from their instruments, from below. Something beneath them has just woken up. The Zifferans freeze, their eyes fixed on the monitors. The hum grows louder. It's not just noise. It's a signal. Something down there is responding. Not transmitting a distress call, not sending out a greeting, but listening. The commander clenches their jaw, issuing a silent order. The ship's sensors intensify, digging deeper into the planet's crust. A massive structure appears on their screens, its shape unmistakable. This is no natural formation. It's a hangar, a graveyard of ships, buried beneath the Earth for 500,000 years. Their instruments struggle to grasp the scale of what they've found. Warships, hundreds of them, lined up in neat, disciplined rows. Their hulls shimmer with a strange, unrecognizable alloy, neither rusted nor corroded. No vines, no dust, no decay. Perfectly preserved. For a moment, the Zifferans simply stare. This is not the remains of a civilization that was caught off guard. No sudden extinction, no chaotic last stand. This was planned. Someone, something, had hidden this fleet, buried it, preserved it. Why? The lead scientist speaks first. These ships, they're not alien. A wave of realization spreads across the crew. This fleet, this sleeping armada, belongs to the vanished species that once ruled this world. To humans. A fresh chill grips the Zifferans. Humanity was never seen in the galactic archives. Not a single mention of them in thousands of years of recorded interstellar history. And yet, here they were. And they weren't primitive. They were warriors. The Zifferans slowly begin to decipher the readings from the ships. What they find shocks them to the core. These warships, even after 500,000 years, are more advanced than anything their species has ever built. The Zifferans have traveled across galaxies, encountered empires, conquered worlds. But this fleet, this forgotten relic of a lost race, is something beyond their understanding. Weapon systems unlike anything they've seen. Engines capable of speeds beyond their comprehension. Defensive technologies that defy time itself. And something else. An artificial intelligence system, not deactivated. Not dead. Just asleep. Waiting. The commander steps back from the screen. This is wrong. This is not the remnants of a lost people. This is preparation. These ships weren't forgotten. They weren't abandoned. They were left behind, deliberately, like a sword sheath, waiting for the right moment to be drawn. Then, the ship's alarms wail. The probe, the small metallic eye they had sent below, has just transmitted something back. A single line of text. A message in an ancient human language. The ship's computers translate. The words appear on the main screen. For simple words. Words that send a cold, primal fear through the Zifferans. We are still here. And then, the first warship begins to wake. The Zifferans' ship trembles as the first warship stirs beneath the surface. The commander snaps orders, urging the crew to pull back, but something holds them in place, not physically, but with a force far greater than gravity. The probe's transmission continues. New data floods their systems, lines of ancient code unraveling like a whisper from the past. A fragment of information, encoded in the warship's databanks, seeps into their systems. A message. The crew watches in stunned silence as holographic visuals flicker to life. They're seeing memories, not from the Zifferans, not from their databases, but from the long-dead species that once ruled this world. The first image is breathtaking. A golden age. Cities of gleaming towers stretch across the horizon, bustling with life. Giant vessels, human starships, pierce the skies, drifting between planets as effortlessly as birds. A civilization not just surviving, but thriving. The Zifferans stare. This was not a primitive race. This was an empire. Then the images change. The sky darkens. The stars above Earth seem to shift, blotting out as something approaches. The Ziphrans lean in. What happened here? What did they fight? The next scene is war. Explosions consume the sky. Ships burn. Colossal structures collapse under the weight of destruction. Human warships, massive and terrifying, fire relentlessly into the void. But at what? The images are unclear. A shadow, something vast and unnatural, looms over the battlefield. It is not Ziphran. It is not from any species they have encountered. A deep unease creeps into the crew. They recognize the pattern. This is not a war for power. This was a war for survival. The Ziphran's blood runs cold as the final sequence plays out. The human warships disappear. One by one, the fleet vanishes, not destroyed, not scattered, but gone. Evacuated? Erased? No record of them exists in the known universe. No one ever spoke of them again. Yet here, beneath the crust of their own world, they left their ships behind. They left weapons. They left a warning. And then, the final image. One single figure. A human, standing before the very warships that now lay dormant. Their expression is calm. Their voice, though silent through the transmission, carries a weight of finality. The words, translated through the ship's system, appear on screen. If you're seeing this, then we are not here. But we are not gone. The Ziphrans are frozen. The message continues. We left behind our swords, our shields, our sentinels. They are waiting, just as we planned. The warship beneath them rumbles. You are not the first to find them. Something awakens. You will not be the last. A sudden power surge erupts from below. The Ziphran's ship alarms scream as energy spikes across the surface of the planet. The fleet is no longer dormant. It is waking up. One of the crew gasps. Commander, the last words from the ancient message flash onto the screen. Words that will haunt the Ziphrans forever. If you are an enemy, you should not have come. The Ziphrans barely have time to react. Beneath them, the buried warships stir to life. What was once silent and forgotten is now awake. The tremors intensify, shaking the ground so violently that cracks splinter across the barren landscape. Then, a sound unlike anything they have ever heard. A deep mechanical growl. It does not come from the planet. It comes from a ship's. The Ziphran commander grips the edge of the control panel. Pull us back. Now. The pilot scrambles to comply, but the ship refuses to move. The energy surge has them locked in place. And then, the first warship rises. Metal groans. Ancient hydraulics, undisturbed for 500,000 years, begin to move. A massive construct, easily the size of a city, emerges from beneath the surface, dust cascading from its towering hull. The Ziphrans watch in horror. This thing is not just large. It is unstoppable. It hovers above the ground, sleek yet bristling with power. Weapons systems, so advanced they seem almost alive, shift into place. Panels slide open, revealing cannons, launch bays, and devices the Ziphrans cannot even begin to understand. And then, the ship looks at them. It does not have eyes. It does not have a face. But the Ziphrans feel it watching. The crew's hearts pound. The warship is scanning them, judging them. Then, boom, a single pulse of energy erupts from the warship's hull, a shockwave that shatters the sky. The Ziphran ship is flung backward, their systems failing one by one. The commander fights for control, gripping the edge of their console as sparks rain down. Alarms wail. Readings become erratic. More warships are rising. One, then two, then an entire fleet. Hundreds of ships, long buried, now breaching the surface. Some are sleek and predatory, built for precision. Others are monstrous, designed for planetary destruction. All of them fully operational. This isn't an archive. One of the Ziphran scientists chokes out. It's not a tomb. They finally understand. This is a trap, a defense system never deactivated. A warning left behind. Not for the Ziphrans specifically, not for any particular race. For anyone who dare to come. The commander slams a fist onto the controls. Get us out of here now. The ship's engines groan as they fight against the unseen force holding them in place. The fleet's power is destabilizing the atmosphere itself. The air cracks with electricity. Then, a voice. Clear, sharp, human. Yet, it does not come from their systems. It comes from the warship itself. For words, spoken with finality. You should not be here. A surge of white-hot energy blasts toward them. Their ship tears away from orbit, spinning wildly into space. The Ziphrans barely hold on to consciousness as their systems struggle to recover. The last thing they see before leaving orbit. The entire human war fleet, now fully awakened, engines igniting, weapons locking onto them. And then, darkness. The Ziphrans' ship hurtles through space, battered, barely holding together. Their systems flicker, struggling to recover from the devastating energy surge. Inside the bridge, the crew lies motionless, stunned by what they've just witnessed. A fleet, an entire war fleet, untouched by time, waiting for something, waiting for someone. The commander grips the control panel, struggling to breathe. The weight of what they've discovered presses against their chest like an iron vice. Humanity, they were never forgotten. Not by the universe, not by their own creations, and certainly not by themselves. The warships were not relics. They were sentinels, guardians locked in place, not because humanity was destroyed, but because they were coming back. The Ziphran sensors flicker back online, and for the first time, they see the truth. The human fleet isn't just waking up. It's broadcasting. A signal pulses outward, moving beyond Earth, beyond the solar system, reaching across the void. It is not a distress call. It is a summons. The Ziphran's blood runs cold. Humanity is not extinct. They are out there, somewhere across the galaxy, the ones who built this fleet, the ones who vanished 500,000 years ago. They still exist. And this fleet is calling them home. The commander swallows hard. How long until the signal reaches its destination? The navigator stares at the screen, their fingers trembling. It already has. Silence. Then, the impossible happens. The warships move, one by one. The massive vessels shift, their engines roaring to life. Ancient, unbreakable hulls glint against the darkness as they turn toward the stars. Not toward the Ziphrans, not toward any known system, but toward something else. A place only they know. A rendezvous point. The Ziphrans barely dare to speak. They had not awoken a tomb. They had triggered an event. An exodus. A return. And then, the final horror. As their ship limps away, struggling to put distance between them and Earth, the Ziphrans detect one last message. A direct transmission. A warning. It is not angry. It is not vengeful. It is simply a statement. Words spoken with the weight of an empire that never truly died. We have returned. And across the stars, humanity begins to stir.